Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. So I spent this weekend actually updating or upgrading all of my Dark Elf mages, and I got all 5 of them to 6 stars, level 60. I've never done this with any of the rare card family, so I'm pretty excited to showcase these cards for you. We're gonna go through all of them, and because this is an unexpected video, I just kind of decided to make this. I didn't actually get a chance to get a code for you for this video, but we will have it for future videos. So stay tuned. Let's go ahead and take a look at these cards by one. I'll talk about the loadouts. I'll tell you which one's my favorite and how you can use them. So let's go take a look. So coming in number 1 for me is going to be Brig. The red hero is just like Brody. She's the rare version of Brody in that she's going to be able to farm levels just as effectively, and so I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is the card. If you don't have the legendary hero, you could still farm just as effectively, and so this is why she's number 1 for me. Now what I'm going to do as I talk about all the heroes, you're going to notice that because they're all attacker mage types, they will all have very similar focus in that attack is going to be the primary loadout for most of them. And wherever possible, you'll see them going to try and put Crusher sets on them. So just like any attacker, Crusher sets plus attack as the primary attributes is going to be your friend. As far as gloves go, you may want to go with either critical rate or critical damage depending on what you're lacking. If you're lacking critical rate, you do need to get to 85% or higher. If you can't get there, then you use critical rate. But otherwise, try to go for critical damage. It's going to help you out. So this is going to apply for all heroes. Okay, all the heroes we're going to talk about is going to have attack and critical damage as their primary. And there's going to be exceptions, but I'll go through them all. Okay, so Brig, again, comes back from me as number 1. She deals damage to all enemies. Okay, so you can still use her to deal damage to all of your opponents, but she starts the wave by actually attacking all of the opponents first. And at high enough level, once she has high enough attack, you're going to be able to take out the waves immediately. Okay, so she can actually finish a wave or actually an entire fight in 5 seconds. That's just as fast as Brody, so you don't need a legendary hero to do your farming for you. You can have Brig, level her up. Just 5 stars at level 50 is going to be good enough for you to be able to do what you need for farming. So no more waiting for a minute or so to complete your farming. You can now get it down to 5 seconds. So level her up as soon as you can. When you get her, don't hesitate. She's going to be your best friend. So number 2 and number 3 for me are actually pretty close, and I think Blessex comes in, just has a slight edge for me, okay? And she's also an attacker type, and her ability is kind of interesting. She's another area of effect attack damage dealer, and she also gains vampirism. Okay, so she deals damage to all enemies, and she gains vampirism, which gives her a little bit of life steal when she attacks. And she also gains recovery, and she's immune to heal block. So she's all about healing. So that means you want her to have some health, okay? And because she has vampirism, I decided to actually put on the vampire set as well, so that she could steal even more health, okay? To keep her life more. Again, focus on attack, focus on the critical rate, but because I wanted to give her more health, she actually has vampirism as the she has vampire as the set instead of Crusher. And so you can see here, I also, instead of adding attack for all of them, I actually put in a little bit of health. I thought that it would be good for her to have a little bit of health because that's also what you see in her awakening. So she is the only hero that has awakening of HP. And so you do want to focus on it a little bit. And so I thought I'll give her a little bit more. So she's the only exception that doesn't have heal, but she can also stay alive longer. And she can deal damage to all enemies while hiding behind a good tank so that you could continue to dish out damage while surviving the hits and stealing all of the health back. So she's going to be very effective. If you can keep her alive, she's going to continue to give your opponents problems because she will be pretty hard to kill. So coming in at number 3 and close third for me is going to be Ott. And she is a non-AoE attack dealer, so she deals damage to just a single enemy, but she will recover her mana really fast. She'll recover her health a little bit. She has mana breath, she has soul replenish, and she has pretty good mana gain with a mana gain of +1. and she deals more damage if you can get more positive stats on her. At the highest level, she'll gain 6% for every positive stats. So that means you can load her up with 10 stacks of positive stats. She can deal 60% additional damage. And if you take a look at her awakening is going to help you with a critical rate. So you don't need to focus on critical rate as much, and you can just focus on critical damage as your primary stats. And that is what I did here. Primary stats, 65%. And then you can just focus on having attack for her. And I couldn't get Crusher set anymore, so I just kind of said, let's just focus on putting in attacks here. Because her critical rate is, because she has a critical rate as awakening skill, you can see that's why I was able to get her up to 94. And eventually when I 6-star awaken her, I can actually drop some of her artifacts to get more critical damage and more attack and less critical rate. So you can actually play around with her skills a bit. She's a good single damage dealer, and so she's kind of a sniper in that she can hit the bosses harder, and if there's a weaker opponent, she can also deal good single damage to them. Again, she's an attacker mage type, so you want to protect her with a good tank. So the next two heroes I'm going to talk about, they're the bottom, like number 4 and number 5 for me, and to me, I think they're just okay. They are going to be your good area of effect damage dealer types. So Vect comes in the number 4 for me because she has ignore 30% defense on all enemies, and she's going to deal damage to them all. So she's going to deal a little bit more damage to them simply because she can ignore the defense, and she also gains more damage if you can debuff them more. Okay, so if you have any debuff on them, she's going to deal even more damage. And so what that will allow her to do is allow you to go after, maybe you have some hero that, that lands any. It doesn't have to be, defense down. It's whatever debuff you get. And she's going to deal more damage to them. And so against a blue enemy, for example, she's really going to be able to, do a lot of work and deal a lot of damage to them. And so I think that she actually edges out number 5 for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But for me, I just find that she is kind of, in terms of potential, is a little bit weaker than the first top 3 that I talked about, but she can be a good area of effect damage dealer, and I think against blue enemies. But other than that, I think that she's just, just reasonable. So she's not one that I would spend a ton of resources on if you have the other 3. And at number 5, we have Irax. So I say she's number 5, but I actually think that she's not that bad either. She's actually really good against purple enemies. And so if you take a look at her skill, she's got 100% to inflict decreased accuracy. The only thing is decreased accuracy isn't something that I find to be too effective, something that I wouldn't see used too often. But she does deal damage to all enemies. And then her ability to deal 30% additional damage is actually a little bit better than Vect, but that's only if she can land decreased accuracy. And so there's a little bit more restriction. She can deal a little bit more damage, but at a restricted sort of sense. And so I think her and Vect are very comparable in that you can use her against purple enemies, and I think you'll be able to deal good damage. You can use her in waves, but you do need to make sure that you can protect her. On her own, she is pretty weak, so she can die pretty easily unless you focus on some health on her as well. But she doesn't actually benefit from it. Her awakening gives her attack, all right? So you do want to focus on her attack and critical damage, but she is mostly an attacker that's going to be most effective against purple enemies. And so if you're fighting in those ways and if you have her, then she can come in handy for those fights. Otherwise, I think that your other heroes like Brick, for example, is still going to be your top go-to in all scenarios. I think you're going to find more use there. But overall, I think that all 5 of these are generally pretty good. And so to round this out, I would say that that's my ranking. Brick first, then we have Blessex, and then we have Ott, then Vect, and then Irax. That's the ranking I have. I think they're all relatively good, but definitely Brick sort of outshines them all in my opinion because of her versatility and her continued usability. So that is my ranking of these heroes. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you a couple of fights with these different heroes in high level rifts. So this is a level 20 Phoenix Rift. I'm actually going to show you what you can do without Aurora. So I bring in a hero that can actually do attack up, and that's what Aurora is for. You can also use Gaffadeath. Okay, so Gaffadeath does the same thing. If you don't have her, you should then focus on Hempy. Okay, so I'm going to try and bring in Hempy here, but she is not very high leveled and she is a green hero, so there's a chance that she may not survive. But we're going to go in, we're going to jump in. So we have actually 4 rare heroes right now. And you can see that Break always starts a fight by helping you out and dealing some damage. And you want to bring in, the only legendary I have here is Street Block. He's going to be very key here in helping with the mana, just speeding everyone out. And here you have Hempy that's going to help increase attack for everyone. And then let's take a look and see. So we've got Blessex, who doesn't actually have a ton of attack. That's the only thing I think I can change, and that is to give her a little bit more attack than health, but she is going to be the one that will survive everything. Okay, now because I am using Hempy, she is the green hero, there is likelihood that we may not survive this, but we're gonna test this out. I'm actually testing this out live. I wanted to show you an option where you don't need to bring in a legendary hero after legendary hero to be able to do high level rifts. So right now what we've got is we are going to lose Hempy, but we still have our other elves. And make sure like in this case, you do need to make sure that you target down the Phoenix so you don't end up hitting someone else. All right, so then we've taken the Phoenix down and we're going to get hit. And you can see when it's Blessex's turn, she is going to hit and she's going to heal some. So this is where her health, her vampirism is really going to come in handy. So let's go ahead and see. She's going to go next, and we may actually be able to take the Phoenix out if we can deal enough damage here. We just barely take it because of the fire. And so anyways, so we were able to successfully complete this level. Okay, and we did it in 13 turns, so this would have also been okay to get you, it would have been okay for you to get 3 stars on it. Granted, these are 6-star level 60 rare heroes, but the point I'm trying to make here is you can make these heroes work. These heroes can work for you as well. And then we can also do the same thing on the Goliath Rift. So this is Goliath 20, and we're going to bring in Vect here. Notice I'm actually not using Irax, unfortunately. I just don't see her being as useful, but I was able to use Vect in this situation because we're up against purple heroes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and see her quickly in action. We're going to have Hempy help out with attack up, defense up, and then we're gonna be able to see Vect dealing enough damage to take out everyone. So she can deal really good damage against blue heroes. Okay, so against blue heroes, she's gonna be good. I think that the defense, ignore defense is really good, but I just really like that it's easier to keep Blessex alive. I think her vampirism is really helpful, and Ott, I think that she can actually be very helpful, although it really depends on your preference. So that is my rating here, but definitely each of the heroes I find to be slightly more useful than Irax. I'm not trying to hate on her, but I just, that's my rating. So take a look and see, what you think here. So we're going to, it's going to take a little bit longer because the Goliath is a little bit higher defense, I think, and we don't have any defense down here. He doesn't revive, so that's good. So it should take less time as long as we can, take him down. And this is where we're going to be able to utilize the ability from Vex and also from Ott to see how much damage we can do. So let's take a look and see how much damage Ott does. So 8.6 thousand with a critical damage. And let's take a look at Vex. At 6.3, you can see there's a difference here, right? So Ott, being a dark hero, can still out damage Vex here, but that's generally because a single damage dealer can usually deal more damage than a area of effect damage dealer. But we should be able to successfully finish off Goliath here. We're going to take one more hit. We're probably going to lose Ott. Unless Streetbot can take it out here, but he can't. And so we're going to lose Ott, but we're going to go ahead and finish up the round here with both Vect and Blessex going. So this should be the last turn, okay? And that's going to be it for for this particular fight, and this one is not quite 3-star. I don't think it's at maybe they changed it. Maybe it's 3 stars. Maybe it's 20 turns for 3 stars. Okay, so we actually got right in there at 20 turns. And so, you know, again, I'm just using some rare heroes here. They are level 60, but they do the job. Okay, and so that's gonna be it for me for this video. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any other information you would like to know about the heroes, and also what's your rating? Like, which hero do you like best, and how would you rank them instead of what I've shown here? Love to hear what your thoughts are. And this video will be out during Halloween, so happy Halloween to everybody. Hope you guys have a safe time trick-or-treating. Enjoy your time, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.